So welcome back to the African Net Show. Y'all know who I am. My name, I'm African Net. I have a special guest in the building. When I say the definition of having drive or a passion is my guest. My guest, she holds a master's degree in social work, a master's degree in criminal justice. She works in many different fields of social work like welfare, social service, foster care, and many more. And she the author of the book, The Problem with Us. Ishanea Pollard, how you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing good. And yourself? How you doing?
I'm doing fine, man. I'm just blessed, and I'm blessed that you came and did this with me, man. 'Cause you could have
Oh,
been anywhere else, but you here doing this with me.
no problem. No problem. Thanks for having me on.
I really appreciate that. So like, I like to start from the beginning. Like, I like to start from the beginning. So, what side of town did you grow up on? Because we all based out of Cleveland. What side of town did you grow up on?
So I grew up. I had two homes, pretty much. I used to be with my grandparents a lot, and they lived off of 71st and Kinsman. I know everyone knows where the neighborhood house was. They were right across the street from there. And second home off of 93rd and off of 93rd and Kinsman on Manor. So if you know where Audubon is, that's where my
Yeah.
street was, directly in front of that school. So I mean, of course, you consider it as living in the urban city with all of us populated there. So yeah, that's where I pretty much grew up.
Okay. And how would you say your upbringing was? Fair, good, complicated?
I mean, I would say it's fair. Um, just given what a lot of what my parents had to go through, I understood the struggles, especially being a parent now. So I would say it was fair. You definitely learn a lot. And reflecting back on your childhood, it's just like you try to do things differently.
Yeah, that's definitely when you see it at a grown age, and you look back at it, and you be like, "Wow, like I really went through a lot of stuff that I didn't really think about at that time." When you get
Right.
older, you really think about that.
Exactly. Exactly.
'Cause I asked you about your childhood because most people that like get into social work, they might have been in the foster system or something like that. That's
Hmm.
why they get into social work. So it brings me to my next question: what made you want to go into social work?
And see, I really did not want to get into social work when I first started undergrad.
Mm-hmm.
My advisor at the time kind of pushed me into doing social work. I thought I was going to be a lawyer. I've been saying since I was a little kid, I'm going to be a lawyer. I'm going to be helping people that way. And when I had talked to my advisor at Toledo, she was pretty much telling me well, during undergrad, you're not going to really be studying law. You're going to be doing all your core classes. You're going to be knocking out different things to prep you to go to law school. So I was like, wait a minute, I'm gonna be doing 4 years of not really doing law. And then I got to do another 4 years of law. I was like, oh no, I'm not about to do all that. At that time, I was saying I'm not about to do all that. So, she was, looking at my grades and things like that and what she thought that I excelled in. And she was like, well, I think you do really good in writing. Why don't you be a social worker? Because that's a lot of paperwork you're going to have to do as a social worker. So, from there, I was like, okay, I'll try it. I went to what was it? It was like a social work 101 course, just to teach you what social work was about. And ever since I had taken that course, I fell in love with it and just, kept from there, went from there.
Okay, then you got another master's degree in criminal justice. Like, how does that tie in with social work? Or that was because you wanted to be a lawyer?
So when I was going or studying social work in Toledo, there were a lot of criminal justice majors who were actually getting hired for social work jobs and things like that. So they began merging social work and criminal justice together, just so that those who had the criminal justice background would understood fully what social work entailed. So I always said after I finished my degrees in social work, I was going to go back to criminal justice because it's totally different from social work, even though both of them kind of mirror image each other, but they're different. And they go hand in hand in a sense because a lot of people that we serve and deal with have some type of criminal background or they're linked to the criminal justice system in some form or fashion. And I just said, why not, get a degree in that too? Because I'll have the best of both
Right.
worlds, really.
Right. And while you was getting your degree in what was it that when you was battling the cancer, it was during the criminal justice master degree, or was that during the social work?
So that was during social work. So I did my undergrad. When did I finish my undergrad? I finished my undergrad in 2012 and found out that I was diagnosed with cancer. Like I want to say a month after I had graduated. And that was before I had gotten my master's in social work. I was actually in remission when I was getting my master's in social work. But yeah, when I found out, I was actually working at children's services. And I did my chemo, finished all of that, and then, like I said, I went into remission and basically went back to school after that. So, yeah,
So you stopped school because you was in remission for the cancer, and then you went back to school, or did you already have one degree?
I already had one degree at that time. I had my bachelor's degree. I had just
Okay.
got my bachelor's degree.
Okay.
So, when I was working in children's services, that's when I had found out. So that was my first job out of college, working in child welfare.
How did you get the strength to like continue to do that? Because like I had a cousin that passed from actually it was leukemia. She was in remission from cancer. She ended up
Hmm.
getting leukemia and she passed for it. Like, how did you? What was your like motivation to keep going? Like, because that's a lot, man. That's heavy. That chemo is heavy. I saw it firsthand.
I mean, I don't know. And then I was living in Cincinnati at that time, and I was by myself. So I don't know. I just have this one thing. Like I got to get it in my mind. Either it's going to be good or it's going to be bad. And if it's going to be bad, then I just need to accept it and move forward with it. And so that was one of the things that I will always ask my doctor, like, look, am I gonna die? Because I don't feel like, playing with all of this. Like we not about to sit up here and this is not about to be a sad story. I'm not about to drag this out. Like, just tell me what it is. So he was really adamant, like, no, we caught it early. I think that you'll, have a good, success rate and chance of, being able to move forward with your life. I just don't think you may be able to have kids. And I was like, but I mean, after that, I was just like, all right, well, I'm gonna do me, I'm gonna keep going until I can't go no more. So
And you had your kids already by that point, right? With the
my
no.
kids came after. So I'm trying to think. I got my bachelor's degree in social work in 2012. And then from 2012 to 2013, that's when I was working in children's services. And when I moved back here to Cleveland, 2014, that's when I found out I was pregnant, which I'm like, oh my goodness. Because I mean, at that time, me and my children's father, we was trying so long to like try to have kids, and it just never was happening. And then it just happened. I was like, oh, so I can't have kids. Which was good.
Right. That's. I want to give big ups to you because like that's tough to be able to go through that and still get another degree and keep
Mm-hmm.
going and wrote a book after that. Like because a lot of people just with that cancer it take it beat them, man. They get the best of them. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? But you ain't let it get the best of you, man. So I just definitely want to give you flowers on that.
Yes, yes. Thank you. That's one thing I always tell people. You have to still continue to be you until you cannot be you anymore. So, like, even though you are diagnosed with cancer, don't stop doing what you're doing. And I know medical professionals always tell you have to listen to their recommendations and requirements. I was just I'm going against the grain type person. You telling me I can't eat all of this? I'm about to go eat that. I'm gonna give me a steak. I'm gonna do the same things that I was doing before you told me I was diagnosed with cancer, because if you start taking things away from who I am,
Hmm.
that's gonna kill me faster, I feel. So no. So
Yes.
you just
So
gotta continue to be you.
yeah, yeah. So when you decide to write this book, what made you want to write this book? Like,
So okay, so moving forward or fasting forward to when I was getting my criminal justice degree, I had to do an internship. And one of my internships that I had did was at the Cuyahoga Hills Juvenile Correctional Facility. So in Highland Hills, the correctional
hmm,
facility there.
I'm familiar with
So,
that.
my field instructor or my field supervisor at that time, she had taken me to a seminar, and trying to think, what was his name? Coach Alfred Powell. He was the one that was facilitating the seminar, and he was basically, talking about different things that us Black people were experiencing in our communities and what we should do about it and things like that. And one of the people that he kept referencing was Dr. Joy DeGruy, and she's the one who's responsible for coming up with the post-traumatic slave syndrome book. So, just after doing that seminar, I was like, oh my God, I want to write something in regards to this. And I wanted to hit people in a way where they were thinking like, I'm talking bad on us in a sense, but I'm really not. Like the problems with us, I'm saying the problems that are like always continuously following us, not saying that we are a problem. So that's pretty much where, I got that from. Ever since then, I just stuck with it. Like, yep, I'm gonna keep doing this because I like to play on words. So you take it how you want to take it in regards to like the title, but the message I feel like is pretty much clear.
How long was you writing this book? Like, when did you actually start writing it?
So, I want to say I started writing that book in 2018 or 2019. I want to say 2018. That's when I like started doing my outline and getting notes and just say, oh, I want to talk about this, I want to talk about that. 2019, I actually started putting stuff together, and then from there, it just became what it became.
Cause you so driven to me, like when you get in like a dark place or a place where you want to stop, like what makes you want to keep going? Like where you get your motivation from or you know what I mean? Like,
I would say just the fact that I know that I have to accomplish something, that's what drives me. I mean, we're going to always get in those moments where we're like, dang, I don't want to do nothing. I'm just not motivated. And I will always say, take that moment to basically declutter your mind. Whatever it is that's distracting you, get rid of that. Take a moment to meditate. Take a moment to just be like, look, this is what my goals were. I need to stick on that and then go move from there. So, I mean, I've always had those moments, especially writing this book. It was times where I was like, I don't even want to do it no more because, I don't know if you are familiar with it, but the adult conversations group that was on Facebook that I
yeah, I'm
was running.
familiar with. I was in that group.
Okay, so yeah, like I used that group for a lot of data purposes, and some of the arguments I would get in, I was like, man, this is just pointless. But I was just like, I'm not about to let that distract me because people gonna think what they think, but I know what my mission is, so I'm gonna keep
Uh-huh.
on going.
Yeah, I was in that group, man. I seen some of the discussions. I was just like a fly on the wall. I just look. I talk about it with my wife. Some of the discussions, man, it was cool. I liked it, that group. You
Yeah,
should bring it.
yeah.
You should bring it back, man. It was cool. It
I
was
mean, it's
definitely
still
entertaining.
running, but I stepped away from it because I couldn't do it mentally no more. I accomplished what I needed to accomplish, and I was just like, yeah, I left it where it was. But it's still running though.
I don't be seeing that. I usually get like notifications. I don't be getting them no more. That's why I
Oh,
didn't
for
know if it's
real?
still going. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
No, people be still be posting here and there. I know I stepped away from it. I'm like, yeah, no, got
you
something
wrote.
else in mind.
Okay. Yeah, you wrote a part in your book. You was quoting Dr. Umar Johnson when he was saying like that they was pushing mental health to give us to push the medication, and he was saying like we shouldn't take the medication. But I was asking you, like, the question I was trying to really ask you was, you think some people need the medication? Because like I know from experience, like some people really do need it. You know what I'm saying? I know that it is a drug, but
Hmm.
especially some kids, as they really do need it. You think that the talk therapy is good, and they wouldn't need the medicine, or you think that is appropriate for certain people?
I have my reservations about medications, and I'm saying that just from experience with seeing some kids like really out of it and not being
Uh-huh.
themselves when they're on it. And I just don't feel like that it's needed at times. Like a lot of what we are dealing with, I feel like can be, what's the word I want to use? It can be handled by talk therapy. I mean, the whole thing with mental illnesses, in my mind, is something faulty with the brain. And the brain has the power to redirect itself if you're giving that ability. And some of these medications, I don't think really allows your brain to really redirect itself. Like you just putting a band-aid on the wound,
Hmm.
and you're
Like,
really not really treating what the actual issue is. Like if I'm sitting here and I have an issue with thinking negatively about myself, and that's going into me having suicidal thoughts, why give me a medication to just put the band-aid on top of the wound. No, I need to really dig deep into what it is that I'm experiencing or what I'm handling. So that's pretty much why I'm against it. I mean, if people need it and they feel like it's working for them, kudos, but I'm really not a person that will sit up there and be like, hey, you need to get on this med, you need to get on this med, you need to get on this med. Like, that's just, I still have my reservations about it.
Yeah, I'm not big on medicine either. Like I try to find a herb first before I take a medicine, but I know like some people with ADHD, they have problems like focusing in, and they
Mhm.
said that I think it's Adderall that they give them. It's supposed to help them focus. I know it's different herbs, but I don't know. I just think some people may need it. I don't know about kids. I don't not at all for kids. Not at all, because I know it's addicting. When I was doing research, I listened to Dr. Umar because I actually saw him speak in person at Kent State and listened to him, and I did my own research. And it's
Mhm.
like it got opioids and stuff in it, so not for no kids, but like when you get to adult age, you still deal with some of those illnesses that you deal with as a kid that you was taking. They might have gave you medicine for it or wanted you to take medicine for it. So I think as an adult, if that's your decision to do that, that should be okay as far as that situation.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's gonna have their own. I'm gonna do what makes me feel good or what I feel like may be best for me. But I know just my personal thing. I try to stay away from it as long as I can because big pharma, regardless if it's for pain or for mental, they on a come up for a reason. So,
I know you did a part in the book about the illustration of the book. I'm gonna show the book. They can see it. They can see that illustration. That is real. That's dope.
mhm,
I want you to explain it. You like it's in here for the people that don't have the book. You
mhm.
know, and to explain that illustration.
So when I first was coming up, like with the title and things like that, I wanted the cover of the book to basically mirror image the title. I wanted it to speak to the title. So like the different, because I have a copy of it with me too, like the different problems that we see on here, like hopelessness and unrest, and the guy that's sitting here in jail. Like I feel like those are a lot of problems that speak to the black community, and I wanted to put a man and a woman's face there because when I'm saying us, I'm talking about black women and black men. So I wanted the the illustration to go along with basically the messages that I was talking about in the book, and I wanted to follow along with that so that people would understand like this is what I'm meaning when I say the problems. So
Okay. You spoke on psychological manipulation. Do you think that it's more of us manipulating us than them nowadays?
I say we have a part in it, but I feel like a lot of our psychological manipulation with each other is because we don't know no better.
Uh-huh.
And I feel like it's more prevalent from them. It's more pushed from them than it is from us. And we just like how we've always done, we take it, we take it and we run with it and we pass it along. Like that is a part of our historical dysfunction because we were fed something and we kept feeding it to the people that was
Uh-huh.
under us, and then the cycle just keeps going. So, I mean, I feel like we do have a part in it, but we not the starters of it, if that makes sense.
No, we definitely not. But I'm to the point where us in our communities, like we gotta hold ourselves accountable. Like, and it kind of brings me to my next question. So, when do we let go of our past? I know you said in the book that we gotta embrace it, our past and our from our ancestors and so forth and so forth. But when do we let that go and
Never,
let those chains off? Why not?
never,
And why not?
because, and I'm a firm believer of this. If we do not remember what the past had entailed, we are not forced, but we will most likely repeat it. And we are starting to see some of the stuff that we have endured in the past come to. And it's like, no, it's not that I want to sit up here and just dwell on it all the time. No, but I need to have that at my hindsight to know like this was what happened, and I know when it happens again, I know to call it out and I know not to accept it. So yeah, I would say we will never or should never forget our past. We should always remember that, just so that we will not continue to repeat it or repeat any of the dysfunctions that, was there and to begin with.
I'm not saying like forget it, but I'm saying like let it go, because I think that we keep using that as an excuse. So every time we do something that we know better about doing, and we still do it, we be like, well, if this wasn't this, or they ain't put us in this situation, we win. You know what I'm saying? So when I say
Hmm.
forget it, I mean like for us to just not use that as an excuse no more. Because we use a lot of what happened with our ancestors and the teachings that was
Hmm.
brought down from our ancestors, our great grandmothers, the grandmothers, mothers. You know what I mean? But when is it like we need, when is it time for us to just let that go? You know what I'm saying? And
And
to move
see,
forward.
those are two different things, though. To let it
Okay.
go and stop using it as an excuse are two different things. I'm not going to say that we need to let it go. I'm going to say that we need to stop using it as an excuse, because yeah, at certain times we do need to stop using it as an excuse and take accountabilities for what we continue to keep passing along that we know is not right. So in my mind, when I hear let it go, I'm hearing like to just say, okay, well, that happened, but no, yeah, it happened. It affected us, and it still affects us, unfortunately. So, like I said before, keep remembering that in hindsight. But as far as using it as an excuse, we can't use it as an excuse any longer. We cannot, because of the fact that we know what we know. So how are we going to change it? And what are we going to do to change it?
Build on it like the like build on what we did good, or because we got like great black leaders that they like you quoted a lot of them in your book, and that was
Yeah,
dope that we never even think about or talk about. And I
no.
think if we build on that instead of building on the negative that happened in the past, we can grow from it. You know what I mean? But we
Hmm.
stay like we tend to stay into the negative area instead of building on what's positive and the people that actually created this or invented that or made a stance on this. You know what I mean?
And see, that's a lot because of our ignorance. A lot of us don't know what we have done, which is why I'm really committed to pushing this next book that I'm writing um out there, because of the fact it's basically a extension of chapter 1 of The Problems With Us. A lot of us don't know our own history. And all we know is that we were slaves and that white people had did us wrong. And we need to expand our knowledge and our horizons past that, so that we understand that we created a lot of stuff that we have used
Definitely,
or are using
definitely,
today. Like, we are the beginning of humanity, and
definitely.
people don't know that.
That's a fact.
People
That's a
don't
fact.
know.
That's a
Mm-hmm.
fact because they don't teach it in school, man.
No,
You got to do
they
your
don't.
own research on that because they only teach us
Exactly.
about certain ones and stuff. So while writing this book, like, what was your main focus? Like, what was you trying to wanted people to take from your book? You know what I mean? The black, as far as us, the black people to take from your book.
To pretty much like start reflecting and looking at how some of our behaviors and ways are more so harm than good to ourselves and our families and our communities. Like, I feel a lot of what we think and do, especially with each other, is not how we are really. It's what we were taught to be. And if we start unlearning what we were taught, then maybe we could possibly get to a better point in our communities or a better situation within our communities. And that's pretty much where I wanted to, or what I wanted people to take from that, which is why I had put the workbook component into it, because right,
Yeah, I like that.
I want you to challenge what I'm saying. I want you to think outside of what your norm is, because I had to start thinking outside of what my norm was. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what it was.
Okay, do you think that we ever become united as one, black people?
I think that there's a possibility that we could, if we take a step back and just pretty much come together about like our issues. And when I say that, I'm not saying like we all have to think the same. I'm saying that we all need to think together. Like, we
Right,
know that there are issues within our communities. We know that there are things that need to be fixed. But the fact that we are so manipulated at times with certain things, we will never
definitely.
to that point where we're like, hey y'all, we need to do something to strengthen us. And I think it's possible, but sometimes I'm not optimistic just from what I see. Sometimes I'm just not optimistic, and I'll be honest about that. But I think it's possible.
What do you think like we can do to get? I know this book right here is a great start, like for people to really like it make you think. It make you think about a lot of stuff, man, that you probably haven't thought about in a while.
Hmm.
But as far as like what steps we need to take so we can get to that point to where we can be united, or what do we need to take away from, like, you know what I mean, as far as like our everyday thinking, or the way we just the way our black people is, man. You know, for me, I think it started in the household.
Hmm.
And I think that's where it got to start for us to change, or at least to the point where we ready to get united. You know what I mean? But what would you say?
And I would say, yeah, definitely start in the household, but it also started in the streets too. It's also start outside the household too, because what people fail to realize is social influence is very high. It is very high,
Is
very very effective in our community. Like, even though I'm teaching my children to be one way in the house, they're gonna go outside of my care at times and learn something totally different. And it is based off of the individual's interest. So I feel like while we're working in the household, we also need to be working outside of the household as well together.
mm-hmm.
So as far as steps, I mean, I don't I can't even give like steps by steps to even like say how it could be fixed, because it can be worked on in so many different facets. Like, I definitely believe it will start with the individual and what it is that you are trying to get out of life and get out of your community. And if you are one who does not know where to start, I think that you need to take yourself outside of what your normal is and look at different and other people and understand that whatever that they have accumulated or accomplished, you can do it too.
So would you say like the entertainment side of it need to change, or because
Yeah,
to me, I think that's just that part there, man. That's
yeah,
what really got us messed up, is
yeah,
that entertainment part, man.
yeah. I definitely do, because that again. That's a part of another aspect of psychological manipulation. Just the images that we see of ourselves within the entertainment industry, that sets the tone for how little kids view older people and how they start to view themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And if you keep on putting in our faces that we have to be these gangsters and we kill each other, what we gonna do? We gonna be them gangsters and we gonna kill each other. So if we start shifting those images of ourselves, I think a lot more people will be interested to be those scientists and those architects and those doctors that we were way in the beginning before we
All
see
right.
any other culture do it.
And I think that's why I say we kind of manipulate ourselves, because a lot of these entertainers and artists, they know exactly what they doing. They know that they putting this music out here and who it's gonna affect. You know, they know that they can change it. If all of them came together and changed the music, change some of the imagery, they like some of the stuff they doing in movies and stuff like that, and say we ain't doing it. We ain't talking about no killing, no drill music. We
Mhm.
ain't talking about none of that. All we talking about is uplifting and pushing our culture forward. I think it'll change because we do control what's hot. You know what I mean?
But think about who they're being manipulated by. Regardless of what we may think, a lot of these artists and entertainers, now none of them are being led or produced by black people. Just like with BET,
Mm-hmm.
BET ain't ran by no black person. It is white producers who produce BET, and that's supposed to be black entertainment. So
All right.
even though it's black people that look like they're running it, who is telling them what to do? And then if the producers, the top people are not liking what you really want to put out, it ain't gonna get put out. So I'm saying that to say we definitely need to start beginning to own what we do and then put out the messages that needs to be put out. Because I mean, yeah, the shooting and killing each other, yeah, but we looking at his his manager for real, he wants you to promote that because we know that a lot of people are going to glorify that.
Yeah, and they gonna buy into it.
Are right. So it's just so much that I don't think people see, especially behind the scenes. And then if they did realize what it was, I think that people would probably like change their whole MO. But you can only get so far with some people
I
because
think some of them know exactly what they doing.
you
They know
think.
exactly. I do. They not. It's not. They not ignorant to it. Like some of these artists, they know exactly what they doing. They know like when they do like, for example, with the whole situation with Dwayne Wade and his. They know what he know what the consequences is of him. You know what I'm saying? Going public with his son, whatever the his his sex, whatever it is. He know the consequence. He know what comes with that. But he's
Mm-hmm,
still like putting it on Front Street. Like with Magic, he didn't promote his son being whoever his son was, which is fine. He just let people was gonna see it. Like he didn't promote it like Dwayne Wade and them doing. They kind of promoting it to me. You know what I mean? I feel like they know exactly what they doing. You know what I mean? As far as promoting their son's sexuality to me. I mean, you should stand by your son by any means. Like by any means, you stand by your son. You be in his corner. You support him, whatever it is he doing, whatever he want to do. But you don't have to promote it though. Like you know what I mean. People gonna see it on their own. Like they gonna see it when you take those pictures. You don't have to explain who your son is, or excuse me, your daughter is, or
mm-hmm,
whoever, however you want to call. You don't have to explain it. They gonna see it.
mm-hmm,
Magic didn't explain it to everybody knew. Then he explained it. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
To me, and I feel like he know what he doing, and that just I don't like that he pushing it. I feel like it's a money game behind it or something like that. To me, you know what I
I mean,
mean?
I don't know. I don't know. I I don't know if I would want to use the word promote from my aspect, from my opinion. I just think because that they are already out in the public eye, it was just it's more I don't even want to use the word it's more easy to put out there that this is what they're how they're handling it. I don't know. It's with those types of situations, it's just I don't know. I don't even have the words for it. Just like with the Will and Jada situation. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, we are talking about a family who has lived their life under the radar for how long, and now that their personal business got put out by someone else,
Mhm.
it's just like the main thing. Like, let the people be who
She
they
no,
is.
she put a lot of it out. It wasn't by nobody else. It was from the horse's mouth.
What do you mean?
Jada's a lot of their
But
business was put.
wouldn't have never said nothing or came out with that if August Alsina did not say anything. That's what I'm saying. Like we was
Exactly.
not sitting over there thinking about her and him. We've known for the longest that they've had an open relationship, but for the
Right.
fact that August Alsina came out and was actually talking about their personal thing, that's how we got an interest into it. They
Mhm.
human just like all the rest of us are human. So I'm not gonna sit up here and say it was Jada did this and Will didn't know. If it was not for the fact that their outside love interest or whomever it was outed that, we wouldn't even care about it today. We really wouldn't.
But I think that's the lightest part of the issues they having. Like a lot of it was she was trying to be transparent on her show, but she couldn't take the everything that came with being transparent. You know what I mean? Because she was being transparent. That's what made everybody like it because she was just being her. She was being real. She was telling people like teaching people from her experiences. But when she started getting the backlash from it, she couldn't really handle with it. You know what I mean? And it just was I don't know. I
Yeah,
think it just
no,
put stress on today.
I'm about to say no. Don't nobody wants to have backlash, especially about your personal business. It's like let me live my life. Who wants to feel that? You
You
got
got to
people
be careful
judging.
what you put out there.
I mean, but what did she really put out there about their relationship outside of what was initially put out there by? That's what I'm saying. August. That wasn't what Red Table Talk was about.
You was talking about their sex life and how she got through certain parts of their relationship that was intimate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and
Specifically, you know what I mean?
that came after the fact, didn't it? That came after the fact. All of that stuff about what they were doing in a bedroom or whatever August Alsina was doing with her came out. That's I don't recall her talking about that before the August Alsina situation. As far as Red Table Talk, she was bringing out like so many other things.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
guests and talking about so many different other things before August Alsina. But of course, knowing our culture, we don't care about that stuff. We care about the drama. We care
right,
about the nitty gritty stuff.
right,
So I think she probably felt like she had to address it, but I'd have been like, that ain't none of y'all business.
right. On everything.
I'm gonna be who I am, and what I do with my husband, and what he do with women, and what I do with other men. That's what we do. Cause we knew this stuff already.
We did. We
We
definitely
knew all of this
did.
stuff already.
That's why I wasn't shocked. I wasn't when I first saw it going viral. I wasn't shocked about it. I'm like, okay, you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Ain't nothing new. Ain't
Right.
nothing
So,
we heard
like
already.
the point. Like let them people do what they do.
I just finished up about 2 weeks ago listening to Will's. It's called Will. His book on audio.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of people were talking about. Yeah, I know why he did what he did, but he had a lot of lessons in there, and they missed all the lessons that he was giving in that
Of
book.
course.
Like, he was dropping gems in there, man. Like definitely a good book.
No, because when nobody buying the book for the messages, they was buying the book to be nosy.
Yeah,
We love misery for some reason. I just don't understand why.
I don't either, man. I can I don't know. I don't know why we like it, man. And that's another reason why we miss a lot of gems and a lot of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and why we
Mm-hmm.
set back because we love the messy stuff. We run to the messy stuff instead of looking at what we need to know, what we need to
Exactly.
hear. You know what I mean? But I want to thank you for doing this with me, man. It's one of the dreams, one of my passions that I'm working towards, and I want to thank you for taking time to do this with me, man. I really appreciate it.
Oh, no
You know what I
problem.
mean?
No problem. Anytime. Anytime.
And I want y'all to go get this book right here, man. The Pollen with Us. If you don't know, you read it in here, you will know. You know what I'm saying? You will find it'll challenge what you thought. I'm telling you, it's a good book to read, man. Like it opened your mind too, man. I want to thank you for that book. You know what I'm saying? Y'all go get it. Pollen with Us. I'm gonna put it in the comment section. Y'all make sure y'all go get this book, man. And this is African Dance Show. It's Ishanea Pollard. Thank you for doing this again, and we out.